I'm Brian Erickson, and hey, Chris, what's up?
How's it going, Brian?
It's been we apologize for the late start, but we started late because we have two excellent guests, both touring bands. We have Snailmate from Phoenix, Arizona, and we have Community Center from Philadelphia,
Baltimore?
Connecticut,
And
Baltimore. We're going to find out.
We're going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, we're going to sit them down on the couch and we're going to get to the bottom of where they are actually
The only
from.
questions we're going to ask them are geographical.
Where are you from, and what is the capital of Montana?
Who is your dad?
And what does he do?
What is his email? They're from Baltimore, Vania. Thank you, Nash.
Our floor manager, Nash.
This is why we keep him around.
Yes.
He's doing real thing. This is
but
the most
first
laid
and
back.
as
Oh, you want to
always,
do? Okay, you want to do it. Okay.
My adult son and late career Weezer apologist, Chris Dubrow.
That's the most accurate and worst thing I've ever been called.
Yeah.
Actually, I gotta say,
you could be called a mid-career Weezer apologist.
I mean, I
which
could
is
fight for
probably
some
worse.
of it.
You'd
classic-
fight for Make Believe.
I'd fight for Make Believe.
Hurley
I would not fight for Hurley.
and Death to False Metal.
You mean the best album ever? Death
You
to False
notice
Metal.
I left out Red. I left out their second best album, Red.
Red is great.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about the one that doesn't exist, Ratitude. That's not a real album.
Yeah, no,
that
that's
never
not.
happened. Anyway, how have you been? What have you been up to?
That's like. I'm stopping there.
Yeah,
I've been all right. I've been all
what have
right.
you been doing? What have
You
you been
just got done. What did I do?
What did you do on
I
the weekend?
hosted a bunch of. You played a bunch of shows. I hosted a few
Yeah.
shows. There was some crossover. I hosted technically. I didn't really do anything. I
You just kind of
hung
showed
out,
up and
but-
hung out.
Yeah, and it was great.
Good time.
But I hosted a show that you played on
Yes.
Friday at the Asbury Hotel.
At the Asbury Hotel, yes, I played a solo bolo weekendolo.
Weekendolo.
A classic, of course, and learned something that like it's really hard to like play music when there's not like a band around me and I'm playing a guitar.
I think you did well though.
I did all right. I had a good time. I had
Thank you for
fun.
having me up to sing that Kinks song.
We need to
was
do
really
that.
nice.
We need to record that.
Well, we're
gonna
going
do
to
that.
record that for that Kinks tribute album.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you had a really wonderful band called Sonder Blue.
Yeah,
Roll
from
through South Carolina.
Charleston, South Carolina.
They were amazing.
Insane.
They draw again. What I was saying, I was listening to her album on the way over, and I thought it was a girl singing, and then
Okay.
they got set up, and there was no girl. I was like, oh well, maybe she was like a guest on the album or something, and then it was the lead guy because he had such a like angelically
Well, he just had
high
a very
voice.
he just had a
They're-
very an unclassifiable
Yeah, his range was
voice.
really crazy, and the blend, the harmonies, amazing
Yeah.
band, really good guys. They're
Yeah.
young as hell too. They're like little babies.
Yeah,
little children.
yeah. I think what half of them are college. They're like, oh yeah, we dropped out of college because music.
They got the call of the music.
Yeah,
classic.
good for them.
The move to do.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I didn't do that. I just went to school for acting, so I might as well have dropped out of college. I mean, the degree is as worthwhile. Shout out to MSU. What's going on, Heather Benton? Anyway, what did you go to college for? I think we've talked about
I went to
this.
college for communications.
What?
So for radio and television production.
For what?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we have
exactly.
talked about this.
I didn't
I've
go-
done
I
that
didn't go to-
exact
I didn't
joke.
go to college for hosting though.
I could, well, let me tell
which
you,
you can tell
because you're a natural at it. You
This
can't.
is This is Luke in episode 4, A New Hope. Like,
What's
you
that?
know it's in there, but it's just not. It's not been honed.
I've never. Who's this?
There's
Luke
no
you speak of?
Obi-Wan. You know, there was no.
I'm not
there was
going
no
to let
teacher.
you keep riffing on Star Wars. I'm going to keep shutting it down.
All right, that's
think
well.
we
I'm
are,
done.
like-
I'm done with that now. We're moved on.
We're moved on. What
Yeah.
You know what we've moved on to is our first guests.
Oh, have we?
Yeah, I think we have.
Okay.
Do you want to bring on the first guest?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm actually going to step
Tonight-
aside. I'll be back. See you in a little bit, everyone.
Let's bring out our first guest, Snailmate. What's going on? Oh, wow.
We have gifts.
Thank you so much. That's
you.
like gifts from the road.
Yeah.
Oh, this is wonderful.
That's
Okay.
all we get paid in, are just those
Those
little
stickers,
stickers.
randomly
yeah.
they say our name on them.
Well, you guys
Already.
well, all right. So, hey Nash, can we get a close up of this right here?
That's my dog Bill.
Is that your dog Bill?
Yeah.
So, first off, I want to say I admire the fact that you named your dog with a blatant, human name.
She chose her name.
She chose her name.
Yeah.
That's even better.
She did.
I've always been a fan of naming animals, giving animals like people names. Like, yeah, this is my dog. Like, this is my dog Kevin.
My
love
mom had
that.
a dog named Chris.
That's perfect. Like, that's my favorite. I love that. Like, because when people are like, oh yeah, this is my cat,
Jingle
Coco or
yeah,
something, or
it's lame.
Fluffy. It's like, I guess that's okay, but no, people names,
All the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to be like, if I was outside, I wouldn't want someone yelling like, "Hey, Jingle, like, come on in."
Come here, Mr.
Like-
Snugglepants.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be like, "Hey, Brian, come on back inside. Like, it's dinner time."
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Respect.
Right?
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I forgot to ask. I usually ask before we do all the talk shows that we're on all the time.
Oh, all the many.
Yes.
Every night it's exhausting.
Mr. Colbert will not let me swear.
Well, that's because they're on network television.
That makes
We're
more
just
sense.
this is more Wayne's World-esque. This is local access all the way.
Excellent.
Like all the way from Aurora, Illinois.
Oh, yeah?
We played in Aurora.
How is it? I've never been.
They
I have
constantly make the joke, even though they are all far too young to actually get the reference.
Yeah.
Really, because
that's
Wayne's
right.
World was what, 92?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
older than me.
That is not older than me.
Not I
Nope.
either.
No.
Sorry to leave you guys out on that one.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Good on you. Good on you. So welcome to New Jersey.
Thank you.
You guys tour around a lot. Is this your first? I can't imagine this is your first time through here.
This area, yes. Last year we came through, and all of our shows in Jersey got canceled.
Yeah.
That
So-
sounds
yeah.
about right.
We stayed with our friend in Jersey City though.
Okay.
But yeah, we've never played in Jersey until last night.
Oh wow! And you played at Scarlet Pub with
Yes.
Community Center, who we're gonna talk to in about 15 odd minutes, and Joe Gallupo and Lowlight.
Yeah.
Have you played with Joe or Lowlight before?
We played with Lowlight the night before in Baltimore
Oh,
for Community
cool.
Center's homecoming show.
And they left right away.
But yeah, and then they left back on the road. Community Center, that's their homecoming show.
Yeah.
But that was our first experience with Lowlight, and then Joe Gallupo was our first experience last night, and they were all so nice. and
Yeah.
fantastic.
How have these recent shows been going, like in general?
Really great.
Yeah.
The East Coast has treated us really well.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's been awesome.
And you're originally from Phoenix.
Yeah.
And,
Easy.
yeah.
We're a long way from home, and it's super cold.
Yeah, no, well, it's not. This isn't normal. Like, this shouldn't be this cold
I don't
this
like
late
that,
in the
then.
year here. Like, we're all. Chris and I were talking just before we started, before we went live. Like, this is not. Like, we can't really get motivated to do anything. Like, it's.
It's
come on,
terrible.
I didn't want to leave the car.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep that heat on.
Yeah.
Now, so you're. I want to backtrack though. You're from Phoenix. And you tour on a level that you self-described as psychotic. Is that what sort of motivated you to kind of get up and leave Phoenix? Like, just to be like, this is what we want to do? And so you just
Yeah.
kind of went and did it?
Yeah, we've been doing this full time for 3 years now.
Oh, wow.
We do like 9 to 10 months a year. Not consecutive, but we'll go home for a couple weeks or whatever. But this right now we're on a 6-month consecutive tour show pretty much every night until August 25th.
Yeah.
So-
Ariel books it all. She had this
It's an
6-month tour booked in November of last year.
That's
Like,
excellent.
Took
She's-
like 9 months to book it.
Now, where is that something you learned sort of through trial by error, or was that something that you have kind of schooling in and stuff, or where do you get the where does the mind to book a tour that's 7, 8, 9 months long and keep that's basically where do you get the ability to throw 100 balls up in the air and then catch them?
Yes, where do you get
do I
that
get
sort
that?
of mindset?
Well, I started touring when I was 18. I'm 24 now.
Okay.
My first tour, I didn't plan on it being a tour. I wanted to just drive around the country and put my band stickers everywhere. And then I realized if I could get the members of the band to get in the car with me, then we could play shows also.
That's more useful, though.
which
I
is
mean,
really
these
what-
are still useful. Like,
Yes,
but the first thing you did, just like stickers.
Yes,
That's it.
I am obsessed with stickers. So it started like that. Only half the band, it was a different band, only half of them would get in the car, so we did an acoustic tour, and it was a month long. But we went from Arizona up to Vancouver, Canada, to Montreal, through the East Coast and back in a month, and it was just the best and the worst month ever because I didn't realize how long that would mean our drives were every
Yeah,
day, and we
yeah.
played a show every day, but we did it. And then after that, I went to college for music business, which helped me realize how to like do it in a smart way. And then now
Okay.
it's just been trial and error, and still we're learning every single day.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Every tour, we kind of figure certain things out, whether they're like little road hacks or we meet new people, and so it just gets easier every time.
What tell our viewers, because honestly, most of our viewers are fellow musicians and people in the greater Asbury Park scene. What do you got for some road hacks?
Well, the biggest
for some people who maybe haven't been as extensively touring as you guys.
The biggest boon for us, I believe, on this tour, which is something we learned from Community Center, which
Okay.
is get a Planet Fitness membership. For $20 a month,
Showers.
He has the membership.
I have the membership.
Okay.
I have unlimited guest privileges,
Wonderful.
and we can shower at any Planet Fitness in the country, and there's thousands. So,
Wow.
yeah, there's
Now I wonder. So clearly then they have vetted this, like not Workout World, not Retro Fitness.
I've never
not-
worked out there.
Yeah.
We take the free Tootsie Rolls.
Okay, fair.
It's the opposite of working
So I
out.
was going to say that's kind of counterintuitive to going to the gym, but hey, I'll take like a free shower, on the road, especially that 9.5-hour drive I know you guys have between Fargo and Billings coming up this summer.
This guy did the research.
Well,
Yeah,
because
we-
I was going to ask you this too, like how, because I could see with a band like Community Center where they have 6 band members and an engineer, they have 7 people in their van. If they're kind of getting, somebody's getting upset with someone else, it's like, all right, I'm going in the way back.
Right.
You kind of climb over a few people and like bags of chips and stuff, and you get away from a person.
That'd be nice.
No.
Yeah.
We have 2 seats in our car.
But yeah, so how do you keep it interesting, and how do you keep it civil? Because things have to inevitably get tense sometimes.
Well, a lot of the time,
A lot of
I
the times.
I'm driving, and
Okay.
even though we are in the midst of our tour right now, she is still working, so she is constantly on her phone working,
Emailing.
checking in, making sure that the shows are still happening,
Hitting up the local
new
bands
opportunities,
again.
like
Oh, great.
it's nonstop. So anytime I'm like, oh, did you see that goat farm off the side of the freeway? Yeah, leave me alone. It's like, all right.
No, if it's goats, I will look.
Okay.
I love goats.
And then I actually just used my tax return and bought a Nintendo Switch. Yo.
Wow. Chris,
Which-
do you have to...
Yeah. I do, yeah. I have not been able to play it as much as I thought I was gonna, but the fact that I have it and it's
And
nice.
because Chris is off mic, he asked if you got Breath
I
of
have
the
Breath
Wild.
of the Wild.
Just for our
Yeah.
viewers.
Is that the only game you have?
Yeah.
That's the only.
It's the only game.
Dude,
you
Good
and
need.
at the rate I'm
guess.
playing it, it's gonna 6 months, I'm not even gonna be halfway through it. Yeah.
That's so. Do you? I guess So I guess that helps pass the time.
Yeah.
So you're working and you're playing Nintendo Switch.
Right. Not while
Seems-
I drive though.
I
Usually I'm
mean,
driving.
Those long straight roads, you could probably get away with.
Right,
it
I'm
for a
really.
Yeah.
I got long legs. I can
drive with your
yeah.
knees, right? I can do
Easy.
it too.
Yeah.
6'3", like
I know.
You drive with your
That's
knees.
what they're
Yeah, it
for,
doesn't make
right?
sleeping
right.
in the car so great, but
No.
driving
Sucks.
easy.
Yeah, much better.
Which we sleep in the car every night.
We tried to share a 1-person tent one night, and
Yeah.
No good.
Yeah, we're both 6 feet tall. We sleep,
yeah, they're small. They're really
Is it-
small. There's
well, it
only
could be
room
like-
for one person's legs, so it was just like, oh.
We toured in a Kia Soul before though, and slept in that.
Yeah, so we're
so
doing
we
pretty
bought a
good.
brand
Okay.
new van, and that's been an upgrade, but it's still a little tight.
How do you keep things? How do you keep things on track economically
Merch.
when you're on the road?
Yeah, we sell a lot of merch.
Yeah.
So that's a great income. We try to be smart about our food.
Mm-hmm.
Eat a lot of food out of the car. Try to.
Aldi
Oh yeah, Aldi.
We don't
yeah.
have that in Arizona.
We're starting to get them around here too.
That's
Like those are
crazy.
great.
That's great.
Yeah, they got deals. A lot of venues feed us, which is helpful.
Yeah.
So we like starve all day and then go there. Starbucks, if you're a gold member, you get unlimited refills for free.
Another road hack.
Yeah, so we
just-
buy one and
black
then
coffee.
we just keep drinking it and just free refills until you leave the building.
And Wi-Fi.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's really helpful.
So does anyone have a I don't want to say a real job, but like a proper job?
Not only do we spend every minute of every day in the car together, but we both work at the same music venue in Phoenix.
Okay.
I'm a bartender at the Rhythm Room, and she is a cocktail waitress and security guard.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So they let us leave for 6 months and come back, and even if we're in town for a week, they'll throw us on the schedule. Like
That's
it's
so
really
great.
great.
Called the Rhythm Room.
Love the Rhythm Room.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
But we never get any time apart, so
Okay.
it's rough
Yeah.
sometimes.
How what's the scene like in Phoenix?
It's really good.
Yeah.
Is it?
There's a bunch of different scenes. We try and fit in a couple, but there's like there's like a metal scene that's just metal bands, and then there's like a blues scene, and then there's a couple different like indie scenes that kind of mix together. It's
Great
cool.
hip hop scene.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 separate hip hop scenes. It's like there's so many different cliques there and like bands that only play at certain venues, but it's really cool. We've had a lot of great opportunities there. They throw a bunch of cool shows. Like there's so many venues.
What
Like-
have how what have you like what kind of support do you see as a band from one scene to the next? I mean, I'm sure you're going certain places, you're just kind of playing some sort of isolated spot, but then others I'm sure you get to where you realize like there's a community here. Like how do you feel you're supported or received from one scene to the next, or how would you compare that to kind of coming home to Phoenix?
As much talent and just so much good music as there is in Phoenix, that's a really hard town to sell any sort of like merch in. Nobody really
Okay.
buys anything. It's not, they don't have the discipline or the know
Yeah.
that to support touring bands and buy their merch.
Yeah, we hook up touring bands all the time with shows in Phoenix, and rarely do they sell anything. It's like
Yeah.
weird there.
But
Yeah.
then you go to certain towns and like everyone's buying merch, so like
Yeah.
certain scenes kind of just have different ways to show their appreciation. We have places where they give us money and they don't even want anything in return. Like there's all sorts of different.
Yeah, like last night in New Brunswick, there was a couple people that were like, "Here's $20." I was like, "What do you want?" And they're like, "No, just save it to sell."
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it
Yeah,
just
they're
depends.
they're pretty generous around here.
Yeah, we had a blast. It was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, let me kind of take it back to when Snailmate first started. So you two were sort of late of different projects that you kind of alluded to a little bit before, where maybe only half the band wanted to go on the road, or you'd record stuff and it would take years to finally kind of manifest itself. What's
This
it
guy
like?
did his research.
What's it like
I know.
being in a room with a group of people that you really like doing things with, making music, making art with, but you're more ambitious I'm not saying like you're more ambitious than these people, but your goals are different.
Yeah, they don't.
Or
match.
maybe a little further reaching. How hard are those conversations to have?
Well, with my band, after we did the longest tour we did was 3 months. And we got home and I was like, that was awesome. Like, let's plan another one. And they were all kind of like, no, I didn't like that. Like, whatever. And like the conversations we had to like for me to figure out what I wanted and how to get out of that project, or at least put that as a side project and like find a new baby to take care of. It was almost worse than like going through a breakup. Because you're breaking up with like 3 people.
Yeah.
And they all take it so personally, but it's like, no, we have different like views.
Yeah,
and
we
it was
just
like
we're
sitting
just in
3
different
people
places,
down
yeah.
and like kind of breaking their heart in a way because they wanted to be a local band, and it was just like a whole stressful
She needed
thing.
someone who she could tell what to do at all times and would do it. So that's why it worked as a group.
Well, no, but that's okay. That's not. I mean,
Yes,
but that's not bad.
No,
you
and
know.
I needed someone to tell me what to do because otherwise I'd be playing the Nintendo Switch at home.
Yeah.
So
But that's fine because somebody sees, you see a particular level of talent and a similar set of goals, and maybe, because you're schooled in the business of it, you say, okay, well, you've got the tools to help sort of bring these sounds to life, and I have the tools to kind of put it out there for us.
Yes, and he's been my favorite rapper for 8 years now.
Excellent.
So that helped. I was a fan.
Well, we're going to hear some of that.
yeah,
real soon.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you two for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated. It was
super
really nice
cool.
to meet the both of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Chris. Do you?
Mr. Pizza Slice, a Red Bank institution with a new vibe. For over 45 years, Steve operated Mr. Pizza Slice. I'm on the street. Yeah, you guys can clear out. You're all good. We're going to bring on the next guest.
my 2 cents on the pizza.
Do you want to put in 2 cents on the pizza? Come on in.
Cents
All right.
Here, hold it. There's room on the chair.
Yeah, there's room on the chair. You want to
There-
just hop on.
Oh boy.
How do you feel about the pizza?
This pizza is so good that I didn't brush my teeth after eating it.
It's
It's still in there.
It's still not
and
as
I'm
good
loving
as,
it.
I'm sure it's not as good as the pizza in Phoenix, Arizona, but
I don't know. You heard it here first, folks. Mr. Pizza Slice and Red Bank. What was I saying about it?
it's a Red Bank institution.
Red Bank Institution. For the new owners have 100% kept the original pizza called Steve's Original Pie, as well as the signature Italian hot dog, Brian's nickname for me, and French fries, and Brian's nickname for me.
nickname.
You're throwing me off. New additions include pizza with various toppings that can be ordered by the slice, hot and cold sandwiches, smaller appetizer dishes. Yeah. We have kept a lot of Steve's feeling here at the classic video game machines and add delivery service, longer
Have we
hours,
kept a lot of
Sunday
things?
hours. Mr. Pizza Slice. It's pizza by the slice.
Not
That's
their
not
real
their real
slogan,
slogan at
though.
all. You know it. You want some pizza?
No, I'm good.
Who you want to bring on?
Well, let's bring on Community Center.
I'm gonna take off.
All right.
Dibs middle.
Dibs middle.
Dibs middle.
Go for it.
All
I
right.
sit on the edge so that my feet actually touch the ground.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Tough questions.
Wow.
Pretty awkward so far.
We asked the hard questions.
Yeah, well, now that you guys got the ropes off of it, it's a lot better.
Okay, so we talked about it a little bit before, but we wanted to find out. So 6 members and like a sound engineer, right? That so you get everybody. You pack everybody into the van.
It's the whole circus.
You tour all the time, and each of these 7 members are from across 3 different states. How did that happen?
Craigslist.
Really?
Craigslist.
It's not a joke.
Casual encounters.
Wow.
We're like, what else do we have in common?
Band seeking members?
We
No, I
did.
was
We
looking
did
for
the
a
we did the
dog.
whole band seeking members thing. We were based out of Baltimore, and we decided that we wanted to.
And you and Lacey. Were
Lacey and
Baltimore.
Amanda and
Oh.
Danny, our
Danny
sax
as
player.
well.
Oh, okay.
And we were an 8-piece band there, and we said we want to take it on the road. And half the band said, "I am not interested in that at all."
Oh, wow.
And so we
Similar
went to
to-
Craigslist, and we put up Baltimore has a bunch of nice music schools, and we put up flyers there, and they were not interested. And then we went on Craigslist and said, "Hey, would you like to travel the country for no money and write music?" And Matt and our bassist Jeanette were crazy enough to say yes, and now we still do this every day together.
Oh, wow.
The first
Best-
day we all met each other was when they moved onto the bus.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow.
it was
Like
Matt's
a mail order bride.
mail order
Exactly.
drummer
Yeah.
Exactly
and
like
bass
that.
player.
and
So-
our first show together was 3 hours long, so I mean it was a real
And it was a week and a half sooner than you said it was.
A
gonna be.
true initiation, a
Yeah.
true
Yeah.
welcome.
Just-
I was
Threw it
planning
in.
on saving up as much money as I could, and Brian called me 3 days before the show, and he's like, "You know what? We're gonna be in Connecticut for the show anyways. Why don't you just jump on now?" It's like, you know what? That's fine. I've got something.
Okay, so when because my next question, though you kind of answered it halfway. I was going to say, when did it become apparent that this would be a full-time venture? Was it
August 1st, 2015?
I was gonna say right away. For
was
me,
that a real? Is that the
pretty-
real date,
I
or
think
you
that's-
just?
is it May 30th?
2015, August 1st.
August 1st. August 1st,
yeah.
2015 was the first day that we all ever got together and all played a show together, and we instantly liked it. You know,
So-
instantly all got along. We're all really
So-
different, and we still really like each other and work together really well.
So let me get this straight. The first time you were all in a room together was for a show.
For
Well,
the rehearsal before the show?
Yeah, we had a couple rehearsals before that.
Okay.
I think,
'Cause was gonna say
and by a
that
couple
is
I mean one
crazy
day of
if there
rehearsal,
was-
2 days,
I
or
think
one
I
trip.
think-
You guys came to Connecticut from Virginia. You drove overnight. You like canceled a show or something and just drove overnight and came to see me.
Just to have one rehearsal to prepare 3 hours.
And it
of
was
music.
like 2 days of rehearsing. You guys got there. We set up and rehearsed for several hours.
All originals?
All originals. It was about 3 hours worth of originals.
So you didn't even have, it's like, oh yeah, a little bit of Weezer here, a little bit of like,
No, nothing.
you
like
know,
that.
Killers there.
Honestly,
No.
nothing
So
like
you
that.
couldn't even, so
Yeah.
you couldn't even like listen to the real.
I
you
didn't
know,
even hear the recordings of the
Oh,
songs.
wow.
It was just Brian in my attic with his guitar, and I think Jeanette, our bassist, was there because she was also trying to learn this stuff because she was also new too. And we had 2 days to rehearse, and it was just like, okay, well, this song is gonna sound like a mouse that's stuck in a grandfather clock. And I was like,
That was a real note. That was Go East. Yeah.
I was like, really, dude? Like,
Oh,
okay.
thank you. No, like tempo, no nothing.
That's no tempo,
Just
no.
vague analogies. That's how we write our best
and
stuff.
I really had no idea what these songs were gonna be like. I learned, what was it, like 18 songs in like 2 days,
Yep.
and just a guitar and bass and doing that, and then like the horns. Danny and Amanda. That was when Amanda was just learning how to play the trumpet, and they would just come upstairs and start playing the horns with it, and I was like, whoa, like this is what these songs are gonna sound like. This is insane. I like this a lot. Like this is cool. But at first it was weird, and then everybody else came in, and I was like, this is
Makes
crazy
sense now.
cool. Like this is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
But, yeah, it was-
sound-wise, to kind of piggyback off that, it when you play, it feels like it's so strange. When you play, it's so strange.
The end.
Full
That
stop.
about, yeah, that's
You
about
nailed
the
it, yeah.
summary of
Well,
it. Yeah.
what it is though is it feels like everybody is kind of doing their own thing, but it all somehow fits.
That's the nicest thing you could say.
And no, but there's a real magic in something like that when you get 6 sort of disparate elements that all sound like they're playing. I mean, yeah, everybody's playing their own parts, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. Like it's like everybody's kind of on their own individual island, doing their own, doing their own piece of this song that somehow manages to sort of gel together. And I find that, there is like kind of this magic
I appreciate
about
that, yeah.
something like that.
So what we try to do is everybody in our group is very good about saying, I just won't play here. And so what
Okay.
we do is we all write a lot of
It's like everybody
parts for us.
defers.
Yeah,
like,
everybody
you
defers.
know what? I
It's
don't
like,
have to do
I
this.
am so happy to not do anything.
We're all pretty lazy.
yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Like, nah, you take it.
You
here.
take solo over there. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go get a beer. And so what we tend to do is we all write way too much. We'll write as if Matt and I will just write as if it's just like a guitar and a drum song, and then everybody adds their parts, and we try to pull back and find out where the character of the song is and what the strengths are. And so when if Lacey does a little melody on the violin, that's gonna get totally covered up by a wailing saxophone or a lot of drums or something. We say, like, let's get rid of that saxophone, let's make the drums do something way simpler,
Okay.
so that everybody hears that violin part. And we all, I think, every single part of every song, everyone in our band could tell you what the focus is supposed to be. And I think that that's really served us well, because for years it was just, we were making music like for ADD people by ADD people, it was just like way too much going on, and you didn't know what you're supposed to be paying attention to. And so now we're a lot better at kind of moving the spotlight around it where it's supposed to be, and everybody everybody's part is supposed to serve that idea.
Well, I'm sure that's the beauty of getting to play night after night after night is developing that sense of, that sense of maybe that sense of musical sort of modesty, where we say, yeah, let's not just go full bore on all this stuff.
And what's funny is that we'll we demo everything, and so we'll hear we'll make a demo, and then we'll play the song 100 times and never have a conversation about what needs to change. But when we go back and listen to that demo and then think about how we play it now, it will radically change just by night after night doing it over and over again.
Well, that and changing the venue also helps a lot too, because if we're working on a song and we've only been playing it in like rock and roll halls where the sound is huge, we might think that the song is a rock and roll song, but then the next day if we try to play it in a coffee shop, we're like, this should change now. Like we can't play this song everywhere, and so like if we can get something to work everywhere, then we know it's done. Like if it sounds good on a record, if it sounds good in a small space as well as a large space, then we know like this is probably right where it should be at. That's the sweet spot.
And so you said if it's in this venue or that venue, is it dictated more by the venue or is it dictated more by the audience in those places?
It's a little bit of everything, I would say.
Yeah, we definitely are people who kind of like take in the energy of the room, take in the energy of an audience, and we take that into ourselves and put it into our show, which I think is why we tend to like connect with people a lot. Like afterwards they came up and they're like, I feel like you were playing just to me, and we're like, we were.
Well, we kind of were.
You're in this room right now. We were totally playing just for you. So it's
that's
nice
good
balance.
That I kind of like that idea where it's almost like a dialogue between artist and audience then. And even the idea where you're saying, it sounds this way in a rock club, it sounds this way in a coffee house, and trying to find whatever the center of all of that is so that the song can sound its absolute best no matter where you're playing and what, or to whom you're playing.
Right. And so one of the songs that we're going to play today is a week or two old. And so,
cool.
And so we've been, workshopping it in different places, and like I said, coffee shops, and then we just did like a big rock hall in our hometown of Baltimore, and then now we're going to do it today, more stripped down, and again try to make sure that it's a song, in Baltimore when we're playing for a bunch of people, and
it's
a song today
major
when we're
network television.
Exactly, when we're standing next to each other, and we don't have the thundering drums and everything, and make sure that there's still a song in there.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull out completely.
Yeah.
There you go.
Talking
That's
about
it.
being lazy. I'm just like, listen, if you guys can just take it all, I'll be back there enjoying it.
I'm glad you heard that.
Here, you can keep your hands busy with this pizza.
I will.
You have released in the last year and a half, 2 years, you've released 2 albums and an EP, like a covers EP.
And a live album.
And a live album.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you keep all that up?
We recorded our 2 albums at the exact same time because we're on the road 10 months out of the year. So when we recorded our 2 albums, we recorded one in the morning with one producer and one at night with another producer.
Wow.
And so we had enough for that many songs, and it was crazy, but that was the amount of time that we had, and we wanted to get these songs recorded before they were old and boring to us, and so we just did 16 hours. We'd do 8 hours in the morning with one producer and 8 hours
bite
at
the
night
bullet
with another.
and commit.
And then we would go out to the car, and we'd sleep in the car, and then wake up and do the morning session again. And
Wow.
So, and because we worked with 2 different producers, thankfully they sound very different from one another.
Oh, they absolutely do.
Yeah, but they were literally made at the same time.
That's really something.
Yeah.
And I guess business-wise, that seems
terrible idea.
No,
terrible. Don't ever do that.
No. I feel like it in my opinion, which doesn't necessarily matter much, but it feels like it's smart because whatever album number 1 is, you put that out, you go on the road, you sell merch, you sell records, you try and make some of that money back, and then album number 2 comes. Like you've already got that. Like you're already, it's like finishing your homework the day, like 2 days before it's due.
Right.
Like you can kind of relax a little bit and just say, yeah, well, it's already there, it's already done, and now you've sort of given yourselves the power to dictate when you want it out and exactly how you want it to be presented without the pressure of, oh man, we have to go back in and do that all over again. Like, it's already there.
Well, and so we're doing one better with that now. We're making our next album in-house, and because we put out 2 albums at the exact same time, we had plenty to tour on for a while, and so it gave us a lot of time to write and a lot of time to decide how we wanted to do the next thing. And so, I mean, we have a new album 90% done, but 90% done might, you know,
The
it
last
might
10% takes a lot
the
longer.
last 10%
way longer.
And because we're not, you know, touring for years and years on a 5-song EP or something, you know, we've already got 30 songs out floating around. You know, it's enough, and we can, you know, kind of learn how to make something ourselves and really fuss over that last 10% and and so when we're done with this, and whatever year or two that happens, then we can, you know, we're trying to be as self-sufficient as possible.
It's
and
nice
not
to fuss.
It's
And
nice
not-
to fuss.
And not have to fuss at someone else.
Yeah, exactly. So we
You
can
know.
listen to this in the car, and because it's us who's on stage and trying to learn all these different personalities of songs, we're trying to figure that out in a recording too.
Yeah.
So it's been fun trying to learn how to do this ourselves and not have to stay at home and sleep in the car and you know, book studio time. And now we just kind of work on stuff whenever. Tomorrow we got a day off in Connecticut, and we'll probably convene at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening and take a listen to it and see what we got. And so it's nice to work at our own pace now.
Yeah. What? How do you keep all that material fresh?
So we have.
If you're playing,
We
you
play
know,
long
how?
shows
Because you're
and lots
playing.
of them.
Yeah, because I mean, you're playing. You know, you're on the road for probably, would you say, about 3/4 of the year?
Last
give or
year was
take?
10 months. I think this year's gonna be 8 or 9.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah. So how do you keep that stuff fresh when you're, you know, if you're not playing all of it every single night, you're touching those songs pretty much every week at least, or every few days.
We try to switch them out. We have songs that when we leave on tour, everyone in the band like gets to pick one that we're not going to play. You know,
that's
just
good.
like I'm
You
so
kinda have
tired.
the blacklist.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
so tired of this, and the deal that we usually have is that for every song that we get rid of, we have to replace. So like today, we're gonna, you know, play the song that's a week or two old, and by adding that to the set list, we get to cut something that we're tired of.
I see.
And so it's kind of nice to keep things fresh that way, and also it's really nice to have something in the set where you're like, I'm not sure if this is gonna work, you know, like rather than just kind of getting bored and being able to do this on autopilot. What happens is there's always this part in the set where we're just like, this might go off the rails, you know, and still being a little nervous and still tuned in makes that song good, but then makes everything around it interesting as well.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure that nerve really.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's what helps sort of keep the edge, keep it off
Yeah.
autopilot.
Yeah,
for a lot of those
usually,
shows.
there's always somebody on stage who goes, "Which one's that?" You know, and when when
How does
Yeah.
that one start? Do I come in right away,
Yeah.
or
How's
is
this
there like
one
an
go?
intro?
yeah,
Oh, that's the best.
we have that conversation every night. So
Well, that's a good conversation to have, and we're excited to hear this brand new song, or well, a song that I guess is going to be brand new to us.
Us
and-
too.
Oh, excellent. Well, you know, keep that nerve.
Cool.
Community Center, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
One More with Brian Erickson is brought to you live from Monmouth Music in Red Bank. BART, established in 1987, Monmouth Music is located at the center of historic Red Bank, New Jersey, voted 3rd best town in the United States by the Smithsonian. Do you know what the #1 town in the United States was? No, I don't. Stanton, Virginia. Look it up. They're located within walking distance of the famed Count Basie Theater, Red Bank train station, and many fine eateries, including Mr. Pizza Slice. Monmouth Music continues the tradition of being a destination store for all levels of musicians, both beginner and professional. New owner Mario DiPartolo. Hey Mario, what's going on? How you feeling? He's feeling good. New owner, a lifelong musician, offers a wide selection of brand name instruments at everyday low prices, both new and used, with personal, professional, and expert service only a family-owned and operated store can provide. Hey Bart, does the neck on your guitar or banjo need repairing?
You already know.
You already know.
Yes.
Do the valves on your saxophone need to be refitted? Regardless, do they?
Often.
That's exciting to know. Regardless of what day it is, bring your instruments to Month Music for quality repairs. You'll enjoy prompt service from a team of repairmen who are always available. Brian, do you wanna say something?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Month Music in Red Bank?
Oh, this is gorgeous.
This is a gorgeous
yes,
place.
indeed.
You heard it here
Excellent.
first,
We almost bought a pink clarinet just walking in the door.
Because
so
you guys need a pink
we
clarinet.
need a pink clarinet. We don't have enough stuff. So yeah.
How many accordions do you guys own? I don't think Brian got to the heart of any
4?
questions.
I think we
about
have
the
4 or
accordions.
5 accordions. Derelict. They're so bad that somebody won't repair them for
Yeah,
us.
I
so,
need to get. Where do you go to get your accordions repaired? Because mine's actually done.
Craig's.
Mammoth Music in Red Bank.
Do you guys repair accordions?
I
Here?
don't. Yes, we do.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do repair instruments. We are stalling, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
I can talk about accordions all day.
We
can do this.
What's your favorite kind of accordion? We're gonna milk this,
What
folks.
do we say here? The ones with a keyboard on the right. 'Cause
Oh,
Then I know
okay.
how to play half of it.
Oh, we're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you
wasn't
so
done.
much.
I wasn't
Ladies
done.
and gentlemen, now please welcome Snailmate.
What you are, what you want. Oh my God, what you want. Today I woke up dumb. I couldn't think of any words that worked my tongue. Couldn't even praise the sun, cause the concept of walking outside was something I couldn't process. I thought cartoons would look like fun. My eyes had no idea what they were watching. Maybe I'm not meant to have one of those, what's it called, something hold up. Rubbing my tongue when you slap in my face. Basically, I'm multitasking, frantically prancing his face. Pray for me, well that won't fill up my gas tank. I can make believe it'll grant me a million miles to the gallon, but I won't hold my breath unless that's how I'm supposed to get there. Whoa, Lord knows it's all too awful thinking outside of that box. Will get you inside of a coffin and talking about what you want is better than accomplishing shit. What you want? Wanna run to me? What you want? Today I got up in my own way. I couldn't find my happy place because the crap was opaque. It's in my face and I'm waiting in it. Am I the waiter? I'm already made of it, cause I crave the taste of it. In fact, I just made myself a fat crap sandwich with sauerkraut and raisin bread right now. I didn't even have to pay for it. Like I said, there's no escaping it. Look, people give a lot of advice, but then I watch them hit their pants and what's in front of their eyes. Cause they fuck shit up, don't mean I'm one of those guys that's gonna make it someone else's problem, not on your life. I'm allowed to yell loudly at myself when I stub my toe. Ridicule myself when I got no get up and go. I would like to put up a toast on the rum celebrating a medicating, you'll never know. What you want? Wanna front to me? What you want? An apology? Oh my God! You're too close to me. What you want? Today is gonna be more but the same, baby. It's amazing how we gain momentum and remain lazy. Today is gonna be more but the same, baby. It's amazing how we gain perspective and remain crazy. What you are? Wanna run to me? What you want? An apology? No. Oh my God! You're too close to me. What you want?
Hey, thanks, y'all.
We don't want cancer, we fucking need it as the world gets faster for some stupid reason. How you gonna maximize efficiency with the pressure on your lips with a tip of demons? Let it up, alright, just run, cause I ran it as advantage of your mind's less dumb. Now chase the dragon and drag the water with your face in your hands with the garbage. That's a big bird, boy, who's gonna cover you? Will you eat it all yourself or will you spotless starving? This is like my army, started their karma, can I get a goddamn? At least I got sharded. Says in the wrong compartment, till we got your money with a user bomb card. Like, I just do rap all those same masses, the only time I fund terrorism is when I pay taxes. Woo! Making it last to the banking, back to the crank to the crack. Stick that in your pipe and laugh, relax, motherfucker. Relax. But the ward is filling up. It's a perfectly normal so you did your feelings. Fuck men in black boots, black suit, white coat, cuts into the cure with his eyes closed. With a statistic board, cryptic words escape your twisted form. You're a victim of a cannibalistic form when you're fucking in the fires of hell. Is it boy? I know it is. But not from experience. People trap for your services louder because of a proximity mime. You're limited to me, give me a sign. Give me a light, inhale, it's fine. Just cause it burns doesn't mean it deters some resistance to visual like cleaning the dirt.
Snailmate.com.
That was incredible. I'm a little shaken. All right. Wait, events of the week. Let's do this. Okay. All right. What's happening tonight? Let me break it down. What's happening for you tonight? Over at the Wonder Bar, we're celebrating local photographer Jeff Crespi's birthday. Jeff, you the best. So head on over to the Wonder Bar after this show. It starts. Head over. Just go there. We got Evangelia, Alexia, Levy and the Oaks, and Reality Suite playing. Brian, you want to come join me? Tuesday, 4:10, Joey Henderson is at Meatballs and Brews for Brittany on Fire's open mic. That's at 8 p.m.
The weekly sessions open mic.
The sessions open mic. And on Tuesday, Tara Dente, Pamela Flores, Taylor Toad, and Ashley McKinley are at the Celtic Cottage Pub in Long Branch.
Go see that because they're all really good.
They're
and
all
that
amazing.
show was snowed out from like 2-3 weeks ago.
They brought it back. It's down the street from my house. I'm gonna get drunk. It's a
I'm gonna
Tuesday.
go to his house first.
He's gonna come
I'm
over.
Hang out with his
We're
dad.
gonna chill. You're gonna meet my dad.
I've already met your dad.
He's a great guy, right?
Yeah,
He
good
doesn't.
dude.
We
Good
don't
guy.
live together, but thank you. Anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. You're a young guy. You live on your own.
Sure, why not? Wednesday, 4/11, the Paper Jets, Heyo,
Who are they?
Alpha Rabbit, and the Soft Spots at the Brighton Bar at 7 p.m.
That's gonna be a good show. Go to that though.
The Appy Brothers, Dave Mooney and Christy Brow, I think that's me, and Christine Mitchell are at the Asbury Hotel. Excuse
Are
me,
we gonna
Asbury at 8 p.m.
We're gonna be in direct
competing.
musical
We're
competition.
fighting on Wednesday.
one another.
So if you have a favorite, come support them. If you have a least favorite, come yell at them. Wednesday, what is it? Is it Tony or Johnny Strauss's open mic at Pino's in Highland Park featuring Shelly Monachio?
I can't read your handwriting.
Melissa gave that one to me, and I can't read my own handwriting. Thank you, Melissa. I'm going to try one day to get that right. Thursday, 4/12, the Asbury Music Awards at the Stone Pony. The Burns are nominated. My band. Bart, come show your Burn shirt. The Burns are nominated. The Paper Jets are nominated. Bart is nominated, and a whole bunch of former and future guests of this very show are nominated. Come out and support. We're all going to be very drunk.
Because they've been on the show, they've gotten nominated.
Yeah, you get nominated
You come on the show. The show is the gateway.
Listen, if you
want to
get nominated, you come on our show. You let me yell at you.
Oh,
Also on Thursday, Erotic Novels at the Mill Hill Basement, and
Oh, I
Alpha
love it.
Rabbit
They
is
are
at
so
John
good.
and Peter's in New Hope, Pennsylvania. Friday, 4/13, Lane, Selfish Things, Hideaway, My Lonely Heart are at the AP Brewery. Little Vicious, Acid Dad, and Shapeshifters at the Saint. Never been there. Can't wait to check it out. You Don't Know Jersey, 40 Mint Records, and Sniffling Indie Kids.
Mint 400.
Mint 400,
Records.
excuse. What did I say? Mint
You said
40.
40.
Mint 400 Records and Sniffling Indie Kids prevent free indie rock night at
They
Stashes
don't
and Fairlawn.
prevent it. They present it.
Listen, featuring Well Wishers, Pioneer the Eel, Secretary Legs, Rosie Bengal, and Trim Tabs. Fox Sanders releasing its new EP, Halfling, and celebrating with Andy Cook. Low Light, Rose Gold, Brooklyn. It's at the Rose Gold in Brooklyn, 7:30 p.m. Alpha Rabbit, Mr. Payday, and When Particles Collider at Mill Hill Basement at 9 p.m. God damn, Alpha Rabbit busy this week. How's it going? Saturday, 4/14, Black Rhinoceros, Daniels Dubrow, Fexine Flat, Gabe Squatch, and myself are playing the Chubby Pickle in Atlantic Highlands. Kate dressed up, the Vaughns and Powerlines at the Music Ward. Message Kate for the address. Tell her I said hi. The Dead Flowers at the Rabbit Hole in New Brunswick. Ask a Punk. Quote Joe Lupo. Slip on some vomit on the way down. Battery Electric, American Trappist, Colton Kaiser are at, Crossroads in Garland. It's Chloe.
Garwood.
Excuse me.
Garwood.
It is Chloe Fallon's birthday on Saturday. Love you, Clo Dog. And on Sunday, close out your weekend with Colton Kaiser, Avery and the Man Devils, and Andy Cook at the Chubby Pickle. That's an afternoon show. It's at 3 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Community Center!
It's a long night running through cables. Mostly, I am out to sea. It takes millions and millions before it begins. Before it begins, then happens out you see, I want everything. Don't you see, I want it all. It's a long time to stay hardwired. You keep talking, even in your sleep. I started listening too close to the edge, too close to the edge, then came up wild and free. Don't you see, I want everything. Don't you see, I want it all. Don't you see, I want everything. Don't you see, I want it all. Maybe we start off empty. Maybe there's more than it seems. It's hall lights and stark white. So do what you can. Oh, do what you can. Mostly, I am out to sea. Don't you see, I want everything. Don't you see, I want it all. Don't you see, I want everything. Don't you see, I want it all. Thank you. All right, get on over there, Brian. Show the people how good you are at piano. Ready? Well, it's getting colder. I'm sleeping later. Every good decision I make in anger. We are strangers. I am alone. We were never in love. Sometimes it felt close. I swear they are louder now that I've got no place to go. I saw your car outside South Street Dive. I was hoping it was stolen by a barfly, and you were stranded. But I imagine you were working your magic on someone like me. I will hold my head higher, not wish yours underwater. Today is the day I pull myself together, and I haven't been drinking, but honestly, that's just because of money. I haven't got any. How many bows do we get? Just kidding. Thank you. Oh my God.
Can we get everybody fit in the frame here? We got Snailmate. We got Community Center. We have tall guys in the back. Oh wow, no, I feel so far up front.
I'm gonna hold this guitar.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
tiny and next to you.
Everybody, Community Center, Snailmate, Chris Dubrow, Monmouth Music. This has been One More. I have been, and I remain Brian Erickson. See you next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.